Hey everyone, we're back. This is a little bonus video we're doing on Canada Reads, the debate. Anyways, debates are coming up. That's fun. Oh dear. The debates are coming up next week. Starting on Monday, every day, they're going to be doing kind of the battle of the books, and each day, one book's going to be eliminated. So it's been quite a build-up. Super exciting. And it's been awesome to talk about all these books. But today we're going to talk a little bit about which books we're rooting for when it comes to Canada Reads next week and the battle of the books. And we're also going to talk about Canadian authors as a whole and some ideas of which books we might like to see on Canada Reads in the future. And with that, Paige, why don't you start us off with your thoughts on the upcoming debates next week and who you might be rooting for?
Yeah, I'm definitely anticipating it, getting excited to watch. You
Get your
know,
popcorn.
I get your popcorn out. So, you know, I enjoyed reading all the books and chatting about them and all that. I'd say, my front runner kind of favorite books, definitely like Dandelion is high up there. And as far as just like pure enjoyment, Dandelion and then Etta and Otto and Russell and James were like my two favorites for pure enjoyment. As far as like the sort of roping in, and I did enjoy as well, and roping in a Two Spirit Journey is sort of part of that. I just
Mm.
think if I pick two, would be those two as my favorite. And I am excited to see like all the champions talking about the books. Because even like Maggie McNeil, who's championing, watch out for her. I think she's going to be really great. She's an Olympic athlete, and
I'm
I'm excited
kind
to
of
see.
nervous. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
intense.
We were kind of talking about like earlier this week, like they might be getting kind of nervous because a lot of people are watching and
Yeah.
listening. You're fighting for that author, and I think they've all kind of just based on social media from what I've seen. All the champions and the authors have been like chatting and hanging out and all that. So they probably really care about this on another level because they care about the authors. So yeah, what do you think? What are kind of maybe a couple of the books that you're kind of rooting for?
Yeah, I wonder if the champions also feel pressure because
Mm.
if you're on social media or if you follow CBC Books, they've been doing little each of the authors have been kind of doing little talks or little Q&As with the authors, with people coming and getting their book signed, um, which is really neat. And it's nice to see those connections. But yeah, I had the opportunity last week. I was in Vancouver and I got to see Jamie Chai Yun Liu and Saeed Mdahoma do a talk about Dandelion, which happens to be also my favorite of the five. But they were so nice, and they actually I talked about this last week, but they actually saw our videos and were very appreciative and supportive of that. So that was really nice. And they also just seem like lovely people, the both of them. So I'm a little biased because I've also had that experience, but that's who I'm rooting for the debates next week, for Dandelion and for Saeed as the champion. Also, I think a Two Spirit Journey as well. There was a talk here with Shayla Stonechild and Mani Chakabi. I didn't get a chance to attend that, but that probably would have been really interesting as well here in Winnipeg. So yes, I'd say those two, but I would be quite pleased with Etta and Otto and Russell and James as well. That was up there for me. But they're all good books and they're all good authors. Like, you can't really go wrong. But I mean, you gotta have some favorites going into it. You gotta have some
Yeah.
skin in the game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't pretend like, you know, all of them are equal. Like
Let's
of
hold
course.
hands. Everyone's a
Yeah.
winner, you know?
Yeah. I know it's
They're all
nice that
winners because they're on the short list, technically.
that's
So,
true. Like that's a huge thing.
yeah.
Like it's funny that you happened to be in Vancouver for like that short period of time, and they were doing a talk there, so that was pretty lucky. And yeah, I've just seen like some of the independent bookstores that I follow, like online, they've been posting like the number one books like each week, like the book that's selling the
Mhm.
most. And for a couple weeks for fiction, it was Dandelion. And then I think last week it was Etta and Otto and Russell and James. Then nonfiction for a couple weeks was Jenny's Boy. So you can really see like how much that's pushed like the Canada Reads books have even some of them like Etta and Otto and Russell James, that book's like 10 years old and it's
Yeah.
back to like number one, and so
Yeah.
that was pretty interesting. So it's good to see that for
Nice
sure.
for the authors too, to kind of have
Yeah, for sure.
a little boost, in
Right.
in their
And
profile and the interest in the books. And
yeah, all that.
And Jamie Chai Yunlu is coming out with another book. She mentioned as well. I think it's going to be different than this one. She said different than Dandelion, but now that I know about the author, you're more likely to keep an eye out for books by
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Exactly. Because if you know the author and you're coming out with something, you're like, oh, okay, I'll like add that to my
Yeah.
to read. Do you have your poster there visible at all?
Oh, you have yours?
Like I can get mine. I'll get mine. Yeah,
Okay.
I can.
Maybe I'll get mine too. Yeah, so you can order
Shout
posters.
shout out to CBC for sending us these posters. They're really awesome.
They are
Like,
nice. Yeah.
um, they're very cool looking, very aesthetic. So we're pretty excited to have those, and I
Yeah,
have
shout
my
out CBC. Obviously, we said that we were doing this kind of video cast, so I guess that's why we got the posters. No, I don't think it's that hard to get them.
no,
Um,
but
we're
that's all good.
special.
Yeah, we're special. Yeah, so I was kind of like thinking about, obviously we've been talking a lot about the books and the themes and everything, and I had the idea that maybe Alison and I could each pick a book that we think would fit in Canada Reads under like this particular theme of changing the narrative. And so like kind of same criteria, just has to be a Canadian author. So I kind of looked through my Goodreads and books I've read, and I'll have a picture of it here. So I ended up picking The Push by Ashley
Oh,
Audrain
you
as
got it. Oh,
the book that I don't have a actual copy of it, so I've read it twice though.
you've read it
And
twice. Wow, that's a good
yeah,
one.
so I don't want to spoil it or anything, but I feel like it changes the narrative. It talks about motherhood, some very dark sides of motherhood. And this woman who's a mother, and just all these like internal thoughts she has, and there's lots of twists and turns. It's kind of like a psychological thriller.
It's pretty
So
raw, like it's
very
like
raw.
unfiltered almost.
Exactly. So I feel like it does change the narrative about motherhood, and probably like I think if you're a mother, I mean I'm not a mother, but if you're a mother and maybe reading this, maybe it might make you feel better about like certain thoughts that you don't even want to say out loud, but you're reading this and you're like, okay, maybe I'm not alone. And I think it's just
Mhm.
it's honestly just like a really good book. So that's sort of all of those things to me. I feel like it would be good in Canada Reads. And actually, that same author, Ashley Drain, one of her books was on the long list this
Mhm.
year, and she's only written two books, I
I
believe,
think so. Yeah.
and it has similar themes. Her second book, but I just prefer the Push. So yeah, would recommend. And so Alison, you kind of spent some time trying to find a book that would fit the criteria as well.
I also just want to. Did you read The Whispers by Ashley Audrain?
I did. I did.
And what did you like it
Yeah.
or?
So if the Push is like 5 stars, the Whispers would be like 4 stars for me. So
Okay,
still
yeah, it's good.
good. Still
Yeah.
good. Like definitely still read it if you like the Push.
Mm.
But yeah, the Push was just a bit more 5 star for me.
I think I recommended The Push to you, didn't I?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
I've
that's good.
recommended it as well to people. I think
Yeah.
that's why I had a copy and I don't anymore. And I think Amelia might have it, but I'm
Yeah.
not as it.
Yeah. That happens to
Yeah.
my books
Sure.
sometimes. Yeah, I agree. It's a really eye-opening book. Because yeah, I think there's this idea that mothers are, always happy or everything's okay, but it's not always the case, and it's okay to not have to be the
So
perfect mother. But yeah,
yeah.
it's really, really good book. And yeah, so I spent some time looking for a book as well. At first, I thought, The Break by Catherine Vermette, which you
Mhm.
recommended to me, Paige. Really
Yeah.
good book. Changes the narrative for sure, but it's already been on Canada Reads. And then I went to other books like Scarborough was on Canada. Sorry,
When was it on? What year do you know? Did you end up seeing it? Was it recent? I feel like
2020, I think. Yeah, and then there's
it's
lots of it like From the Ashes by Jessie Thistle, been on Canada Reads. Johnny Appleseed, I have this one, 2021 winner. So I couldn't really find a book that I'd read in the last few years that hadn't been on Canada Reads. And you and I were just talking about this before we did this video, but I think I didn't realize how much Canada Reads books were actually marketed during Canada Reads times because I didn't really know about Canada Reads at all. And so obviously these books are being like pushed and marketed and shown to all these Canadians. They're selling a lot, which is probably why one of the reasons why I picked them up.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's why I have all these books that I've read that were already on Canada Reads, which I had no idea. which I think a lot of people probably have read books that have been on Canada Reads and not realized it. So yeah, I didn't really come up with a book that wasn't already on Canada Reads, but I'm sure that I have. But I want it to really be a stellar changing the narrative book. A
Yeah,
lot of good
yeah.
books have been on Canada Reads, I guess.
I feel like I walk to a bookstore like this time of year, and there'll be a table with like the 5 Canada Reads
Yeah,
shortlist. So again, even if you don't know what it is, you just walk up to this table and you pick up one of these books, and you kind of
just,
you're more likely
just
to buy
waltz
it.
up there, huh?
Yeah. And pick up, Jenny's Boy or whatever you end up picking up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of thought that'd be a fun exercise to do.
Oh, fun
Um,
exercise. Yeah.
the homework.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I feel like we kind of delved quite deeply into each one of these 5 books, and so our
It's kind
half
of
the
sad when it's over.
yeah, it is, it
Yeah.
is, and fast. Yeah, so I believe you can. It's like on the radio each day, and then they post like a podcast of each episode, and I think they're also on YouTube. So it starts Monday, ends Thursday. Like it's really fast. So would recommend tune in, and Alison and I will for sure be watching, and who knows when our next episode will be. Definitely, I think we'll next year we'll do it again, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks
Uh,
for tuning in. Any other words?
do I have any other words? No, I mean we've been doing this for 3 months, right? Because the long list came out in January, and then I guess we kind of had a gap. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. I mean, I don't think I've ever delved so much into books before, and it's nice to talk about them and have
Mm-hmm.
conversations with people. And yeah, my friend
Mm-hmm.
Natalie in Vancouver came with me to the Dandelion talk, and she walked away with a book and is really excited about it. So it's kind of nice just to. Oh, Sal. Sal is really
Yeah.
in Canada Reads.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's
He's read
Sal
all.
hoping for?
Yeah. He's hoping everyone has fun.
Well, he would just have her book or no?
No, sorry.
No. What about
He's
Lucy?
keeping that like close. He's close to
Close to the
here,
heart. Yeah.
and yeah, he'll just figure let us know when he wants to let us know.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
What about Lucy?
Lucy. Lucy likes Jenny's Boy because of the character of Lucy.
Oh, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Lucy's
Yeah.
boy. Oh, Sal. Oh, you're a big boy. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Well,
that's pretty much
happy
it.
reading. Yeah.
Thanks
Bye. Thanks for watching and
for
listening.
watching.
Bye.